What do you think about, and a lot of the fans are definitely talking about Texas' perceived arrogance in all of this, and that they kind of have been steering the ship a little bit. What do you guys plan to do besides interviews like this to try to build back from a PR standpoint, Texas A&M? When you look at the Big 12, A&M probably had as much to do with saving this league as Texas did, if not more, by flirting with the SEC, which caused Texas to balk a little bit because clearly they didn't want you guys in the SEC. And now the Big 12 is, in fact, I think Baylor owes you a lot of credit. I think Kansas State, Missouri, Iowa State probably owes you as much credit, if not more, than Texas. But national media is saying Texas is the savior of the Big 12 conference. Where do you come out on that?
Well, I think, again, A&M likes to take the high ground here. We need to be deliberate and careful in how we do things. Leaking things to the media is not our style. I want to be up front with you. Mm-hmm. If you look around the country, though, you'll find more and more people are picking up on what really happened here. Yesterday I read an article in the Oklahoma paper which had a nice little conclusion about the role A&M played there. I thought that was a very nice thing to do. I've had some very good comments coming from Waco, you might expect, for other parts of this conference as well. I don't want to claim any personal credit uniquely to me here. It's a team effort, but I think A&M as a team here proved itself to be someone who really wanted to do this right. And that meant not rushing to judgment, taking our time as much as possible. I had a call from an individual I won't name right now who was very concerned about this, and he said, well, what are you doing? I said, I'm dragging my feet as hard as I can, and my soles are wearing out trying to slow this train down a little bit here, because we needed to have the time to do the analysis that was important to our leadership here, and to be able to make the decision not based on emotion or some sense of immediacy that really didn't have to be there, but on really what's the best thing for Texas A&M first and all of its parts, what's best for the state of Texas second and all of its parts. That was our process here, and we felt that taking our time to do that was very important. You will notice that Texas A&M did not announce a meeting of its Board of Regents to make a final decision.
You made the decision, right?
Well, basically we made no decision. Think about this a minute.
Okay.
Texas and Texas Tech had scheduled on Tuesday this week meetings of their Board of Regents. On Wednesday, we had scheduled meetings of the Oklahoma State Regents, okay? There was no posted announcement, which requires a 3-day notice in Texas of our Regents meeting. Now think about that and what that says. You know, we were going to take we weren't going to be pushed into this decision by somebody telling us, you got to do this, or else you'll be left at the station. We did our work to make sure we had options. We were taking our time and driving this at our pace, not at somebody else's pace. That's very important to understand.
So you don't feel like you rushed the decision on Monday with the facts being presented only Sunday night or Monday morning?
We knew that, well, I knew Monday afternoon what Texas was going to announce before it was announced publicly. And that was fine. And we took our time to sit down. We could have had an earlier conversation that day and probably tried to beat them to the press. Not my style. We again talked to the right people, listened to the right people, and we made the right decision, and then we announced it. The decision was really no decision. We were going to stay right where we all along said we wanted to stay, which was in the Big 12. Now, I've said publicly several times that we wanted to stay in the Big 12 as it was. Now, the Big 12 has changed. Let me first say that. And so that meant we had to have other options for us to consider besides simply staying with a changed Big 12. And so I was very happy to go out and talk to other conferences to say, what could we do to work together? How would it work out with us? To take the time to, again, measure the things like culture, land grant status, financial issues, the travel issues on the athlete, national visibility, all that were being measured by me. And I was talking to people widely to try to get all the inputs I needed to make that particular analysis the best it could possibly be.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it was clear to us that the right thing to do was to settle with a 10-member Big 12 and to give every effort we could to make it a stable Big 12 that would last for a very, very long time. And that is yet to be done. We've got to get through some things yet. We've got to get this contract thing done, for example. We have to be sure that we're all on the same page as 10 members now of the conference and chart a forward course together.
A few quick questions on that distant girlfriend that became ever so close to being a reality, and that's the SEC. And I think so many fans are kind of a little bit heartbroken right now that it didn't happen. It was a love affair for about 3 or 4 days once the perception kind of almost became a reality. Just a couple quick hitting questions on the SEC. Did you have an official committable offer from that conference if you chose to go in that direction?
We had no written offer from the SEC. What I knew was that if I wanted one, it was a phone call away.
Okay. So you had an offer, it just wasn't on your desk.
It was a phone call away.
Yeah.
I have to tell you this, Mike Slive, their commissioner, is a true gentleman. Over the last few weeks here, we've gotten acquainted together. I truly appreciated him. He never pushed us to say, make a decision now or it's not going to be there. He said, you guys do what's best for Texas A&M. I appreciated that. He said, we'd love to have you be part of us, and if you want to be part of us, I will give you an offer letter tomorrow. But he never once said, do it or else.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. It was a very, very gentlemanly conversation we had over many days. We become, I think, friends because of all this process we've gone through here, having shared some grief together and some joys together. And I truly appreciate the attitude I got from that conference, and from the commissioner in particular. So that's out there. And whatever happens, I think we'll never lose a relationship now we've built up over these last couple of weeks here. That's built on an unusual basis, perhaps, but still, I believe, will give us the ability to talk together, work together, whenever it makes sense in the future.
How close was A&M to being a member of the 13th member of the Southeastern Conference?
Well, that was a decision to be made by our Board of Regents, and they have not met to regard that. I would never speak for them. Again, what I was tasked to do was to give them a couple of things. To give them the best analysis I could come up with of the options we had, and to make a recommendation. And they would make the final decision on that. As it turned out, you know, we came to a conclusion on Monday afternoon among my staff that staying with the Big 12 was the right thing to do. We certainly had kept some of the regents as part of that conversation within the framework of the legal ability to do that. And I think everyone ended up being very comfortable with the outcome.